Hello everyone, my name is Matt Scorpion, and welcome to what is essentially the reset of the mid-season update. So, when you actually check the season, we're about a month through with another 2 months to go, which isn't mid-season, but at the same time, this is where a bunch of new stuff came out in terms of more endgame or more things to do that wasn't exactly present and that sort of thing. So, going forward, you get a lot of menu bombardments at the front. Basically, April Fool's updates, that sort of thing. One other thing that I forget, but also the launch of Master Root of Nightmares. So there is quite a bit going on. Oh, right, it was Legend Defiant Battlegrounds, but also had Season of the Chosen's logo on it for some reason. So, aside from that, like I said, there's a lot going on throughout the world. So, it won't say what booster it is, but I have a good faith, judging by the social media posts from Bungie, that we do have an active Trials booster this week, as Iron Banner has left us, which means we will actually also have a Trials. If you didn't know, when we have Iron Banner active, Trials is not active for the weekend. So, on that note, expect an active Trials booster this weekend. Now, aside from that, going throughout the rest of the world, in terms of the Nightfall, we currently have it as Glassway for, may I say, another repeat season. Bungie, I hate doing this one. Why do we keep getting to do it? You added new strikes to the thing, but we seem to be doing the same strikes over and over again. But aside from my personal disdain for this, modifiers at forward, maximum effective level of 1765, barrier overload champions for Vex and Fallen, void threat for all incoming void damage to be increased, Iraq no, where Fallen Vandals will spawn web mines, not important in the boss fight, overcharged weapons, as well as Solar Surge and Strand Surge, overcharged grenade launchers, and galvanized, so combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Just because stun, I don't know if that means the reeling back that everything does, or that also applies to champions and that their stun cooldowns are longer or something like that. But, you know, I'm going to have faith and say it is more annoying. And on that note, Grandmaster Nightfalls will be happening in the next 2 weeks, I think. Well, math, April. Yeah, we'll have Grandmaster Nightfalls in the next 2 weeks. So we only have so many guns left in the rotation. We'll find out soon. But speaking of weapons, I have the weapon right here at Zavala, and that one is currently the Buzzard Sidearm. If you don't know what the Buzzard was, it was a sidearm available back during Season of Dawn. Adaptive frame kinetic sidearm, which originally could roll with Osmosis as a guaranteed roll. But it is actually random rolled now, and of course has a Nightfall weapon. It has an Adept available, also has access to Stunning Recovery and Vanguard's Vindication Origin perks. So, it's hard to say. This used to be kind of a nice sidearm because of its preset perks, but now, with the random roll ones, it's hard to see if it'll keep up its fight. Now, in terms of the rest of the world and the happenings in the world, like I said, Root of Nightmares, the Challenge and Master Mode has officially dropped, so we'll be expanding upon that. Challenge Mode is Illuminated Torment Challenge, which, if I recall from hearing my Discord, basically, whoever actually kills the Tormentors to keep the timer or his hatred stalled has to have the Field of Light buff currently. Now, I don't know if this is like the second encounter where everyone has to have the Field of Light, or if it's just whoever lands the final blow needs that. So, you know, there we go. Let's hope it's just the final blow, because then the runners can just kill the Tormentors and then, you know, don't have to do much to change that. Now, as well, challenge mode is set at 1840, which, let's see, what is effective cap is 1820, so there's no point in going past that. There will be barrier and unstoppable, I'm sure as you can guess, considering it's mostly Cabal enemies, or it's actually entirely Cabal throughout the entirety. With also a Solar Surge and a Strand Surge and overcharged shotguns on top of the overcharged weapons from the artifact. So, there we go. We have Master Root of Nightmares to go forward. And that also means that all the Adept versions of all the Root of Nightmares weapons are out. And may I reiterate, this is not to be implored currently. Like I said in previous details, the Adepts will actually be updated in the future. So let's say, for instance, this one dropped on me. While they do have their alternate role that I believe will be here, to match with craftable weapons, which can have double enhanced perks, in a future update which will retroactively be applied to prior weapons, at least according to my Discords. After using this long enough, I will actually be able to double enhance these perks and actually choose something else. So, while you might not currently have the ability to stand up to crafted weapons, pretty soon the Adept ones will actually have a tier up on normal crafted weapons because of double enhancing. You might still have to hunt a perk roll and get a few to drop before you get what you want, but you will be able to actually make those stand up to crafted weapons now. So be on the lookout for that, and actually maybe give it a shot nowadays with Strand, or with all the surges and overcharges making things a bit easier. On that same note, the Vex Incursion Zone currently on Neomuna is in Zephyr Concourse. So in case you needed to spend some time there, the Vex will be challenging, and there will be some there will be the Vex Strike Force boss happening there. Now, in terms of the rest of the world, just dodging about the raids and rotations. So, our rotator game... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. The current active dungeon is Pit of Heresy. So, if you wanted to farm anything out of Pit, whether it's the armor or a few of the guns that only drop from Pit, which is mostly some of the moon weapons and Heretic and that sort of thing, that is definitely a recommend if you need that. But in terms of our rotation raid, speaking of which, it is currently Vow of the Disciple, the last one in the line, which means Master Vow of the Disciple is once again available with intellect-focused armor. And this one also has a Solar and Strand Surge, but also has Overcharged Fusion Rifle. So a 1000 Voices might actually be pretty good for damage. Barrier and Overload champions, that is mostly Scorn and Taken throughout the encounter. Another maximum effective of 1820, and all raid challenges are active, which actually means what you think it does, in that you can do all master challenges and get access to all raid... Well, I would say all raid adepts if it was like Vault of Glass, but apparently raid adepts out of Vow are random drops. So it is just kind of currently farmable for raid adepts, I guess. So, in case you don't get what you need, there's that. Now, of course, Avalon is once again available. I do not know if it goes further, because supposedly the last one was the last of the evolutions or something like that, but of course it might be like Revision 0 where there's a lot more to go through. Then, into the Helm. One thing I mentioned as well, there is the legendary Defiant Battlegrounds that are currently available, which will rotate weekly. The current one, it is the one in the EDZ. Maximum effective level 1850, equipment lock, solar threat, overload unstoppable, and overcharged weapons as well as solar, strand, and machine gun for this one. So, if you actually need to run that, there is pinnacle gear for doing it on legendary difficulty in addition to base, and of course there is probably some challenges that you need to do regarding the seal as well. Now, into the rest of... Well, actually, let me double check something. Let's see, I covered raid... there's the rest of the raids to get to. So, in terms of the legend category, King's Fall active challenge is the Gaze Amaze, which is Golgoroth challenge. Vaulted Glass is currently Strangers in Time, which is Gatekeeper challenge. And then on to the Moon, it is currently Link to the Chain challenge. And in the Dreaming City for Last Wish, it is currently Forever Fight, in case anyone needs any of those raids. And I don't think... Oh, wait, no, I forgot about Crypt. How did I forget about Crypt? We have the Core 4, which is Tanix challenge, in case you needed to actually go for the red border still. That is just an extra chest to go for a red border clear. Pretty easy, just do the 4-ball strat and you'll be fine. Now, that is pretty much everything going about, but I keep forgetting about something, and that is the seasonal challenges. So, with another week, we have Still Standing, which is completing week 5 of the We Stand Unbroken quest, which I'm expecting it to be the revenge for last week, in case you didn't know. I'm not going to say it, because then spoilers. Completed Defiant Battleground on Legendary difficulty. Favored Warrior for basically creating all 3 flavors of favor, which is bonus progress awarded for favors earned during on Legend difficulty. Also have Friendly Neighborhood Guardian for completing a weekly mission from Lightfall on Hero difficulty or higher, which I thought they got rid of Hero. No, they got rid of Adept. Okay, Hero or Legend or Master. Then we also have Unraveling the Sun for defeating Guardians and Crucible. Bonus progress is granted for those defeated with Strand, Solar, or Void abilities. So there's a new Crucible challenge finally. You also have the same usual Gambit challenge, completing Gambit matches, earn bonus progress for wins. Adversaries of Humanity for defeating Taken and Vex bosses in Playlist Orc Strikes. We also have the Righteous Blade for acquiring Eclectic Dispatch. Hang on. So if you don't know, if you visit any of the 3 playlist or ritual activities and view their rank rewards, you actually will be able to earn the Eclectic Distaff, which is a Void Glaive unique to the Season Pass right now, or unique to this world, access to disabling rounds or close to melee, and then replenishing Aegis and immovable objects. So, the Adaptive Glaive, Void, I can't say if it's good, honestly. I haven't heard any details on that. But at the same time, because of where they come from, they have access to all 3 of the basic origin traits, so there is that. Now, to check in on the last couple of things, which is Ada and Banshee, going with the latter instead of the former first in terms of his stock. So, checking what he has, on the front page, you see Under Your Skin, a Archer's Temple Turnabout Roll, a Void Precision Frame Bow, craftable with the Land Tank Origin trait for resilience and damage resistance on final blows. Would guarantee this one, also craftable, so I would recommend actually getting used to this one. Same thing with Judgment of Kelgaroth. This thing, I'm not gonna lie, the base roll of Genesis Surrounded made the Legendary Campaign solo pretty dang easy on my Warlock. I had it on just because I was leveling up, and Genesis, because of all the Cabal shield generators in the campaign now, it really made things easy. I would definitely recommend it. Of course, Aggressive Glaive making it a little bit more damaging per shot. We also have Legal Action, a high impact frame pulse rifle, and while being Hake and not access to the Hake origin trait, would still recommend this thing in Crucible because this is one of the most consistently 2-bursting pulse rifles I've ever used, not to mention if I get a Rampage or something better than Killing Wind like Surplus active. And we also have the Aruda 59, which is a Void full auto sidearm Suros with access to, well, actually Arrowhead Break makes it easier to control. But of course, this is probably one of the few sidearms that are actually fun to use as opposed to just spam the trigger and fire all the bullets. Then we also have Negative Space, a sword, which I'm noticing a trend that almost every time the last on the front page is going to be a sword of some sort, whether it's class or open world. And then in terms of gunsmith weaponry, we have Syncopation 53, which is an Adaptive Frame Stasis pulse rifle, which I might recommend if I actually used it at all. However, it is also craftable, and I'm sure somebody will find a use for it, as anyone can find a use for anything in Destiny. Then, as well, we have Lodbrok C, a high-impact frame kinetic auto rifle, access to the origin trait of Hake Breach ornaments, but then also a relatively new set of perks, considering this came in last season. Access to target lock, but not many focused DPS extenders other than magazine perks. We also have Contingency Plan, which is a scout rifle that I wholeheartedly use for Crucible. I enjoy this one. I have an Outlaw kill clip roll. It took me a flawless and a trials. Well, I'm not gonna lie, a flawless and a trial during season 15, but which was 5 seasons ago. But at the same time, this is an unexpected killing machine. We also have Redback 5SI, which is a Viced sidearm, access to the Viced origin trait, Solar sidearm, lightweight. Although this is spam the sidearm, so it's hard for me to actually advocate for it. And you have Memory Interdict, a grenade launcher available in the Amalon without the origin trait. Now, as much as Impulse Amplifier and Danger Zone might actually be a decent set of damage / add clear perks, I cannot recommend it just because of the mags being a generally less blast radius focused appendage. We also have Palmyra B, which is a stasis rocket launcher that is craftable, and while this roll can get you through some things, definitely recommend crafting it. With access to autoloader and explosive light and that sort of thing, crafting just 9 times out of 10 will always overdo most other rolls. On that note, time to visit Ada to see what she has for shaders. And visiting Ada, we have Vitrified Duality from Season of Dawn, which if I recall is not half bad. It's a pretty solid steel and tannish look, but it does seem to actually come with some camo, so this could be a decent enough military look. There's a Bray Innovation, which is from Season 3, which if I recall is just kind of a, well, it's to match like the original Bray weaponry that came from. Like if you ever look up the Braytech Osprey, this is the shader that went with it. We also have Dead Orbit's Fate, which if you wanted to look emo, this is one of the good ones because this is pretty much just straight up black and white in all sorts of places like Dead Orbit camos usually are. With that has been the reset and everything to do with the world and Destiny currently. Have not wrapped up the season yet. I'm sure it will be an explosive one. Excited to see that, but first we must touch with Eververse. My name is Matt Scorpion. I will see you in the next video.